In a previous video, I checked out how the PS1 Classics fared on PlayStation 5 against DuckStation Emulation, and let's just say the results were mixed. Visuals, different regions being used, and very few features to speak of smelled of low effort for the service. The biggest mark against PlayStation Classics on the PS5, however, was the input lag. Every game I tried had this problem, making the games much more difficult to play. By popular demand, many of you wanted me to try the PS2 Classics the service offers. Is it any better? To find out, I tested 20 or so games and compared them with PCSX2 Emulation using both software and hardware rendering modes. Let's begin. When you first check out the PS2 Classics on PlayStation 5, you can see we have games which have the PS5 native versions and PS4 versions that run in backwards compatibility. We even have PlayStation 3 versions that are stream only, which means the internet is required to run them. Unlike the PS1 Classics, where all titles had PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 versions available, the situation here is very different. I guess Sony just ported the PlayStation 4 remasters or ports of their PlayStation 2 Classics to save money or time. I noticed on the PlayStation 5 apps you could change regions, enable enhancements, and change the screen type. Default was my choice as before. The PlayStation 4 apps don't allow you to change anything, so what you get is at the mercy of Sony or the people who ported the title. The PlayStation 5 was outputting these titles at a maximum of 1440p, whereas PCSX2 using the hardware rendering mode was also capped at 1440p, but I did switch between Vulkan and Metal rendering modes depending on the game. I used these settings to maximize both graphics and frame rate performance. As for software rendering mode, I disabled the EE cycle rate overclock to get a better sense of how PlayStation 2 games actually looked and ran to give you an idea of actual console experience. We kick off with Timesplitters 2. This is a native PlayStation 5 app, so I was expecting the best experience. Timesplitters 2 is a classic first-person shooter, and I chose it to test the input lag to see if it is still a problem. I can thankfully confirm in this title anyway, input lag has been vastly reduced and I had no trouble playing the game. It looks as if Sony or the developers who made this port put in more effort into making it much more playable than the PlayStation 1 Classics. The polish overall is good because the graphics are nice and sharp, the sound is clean and well represented, and I saw no glitches or problems during my playtime. On PCSX2, the game using the settings I described in Metal rendering mode looks very similar to the PlayStation 5. The graphics are a bit lighter in the brightness and slightly sharper, but it looks basically the same. Input lag is slightly better on PCSX2, although not enough to be a concern. A strong start for the PS2 Classic on PlayStation 5. What about the third game? Let's try Timesplitters Future Perfect. On PlayStation 5, the game once again looks good, plays well, and sounds the part. We do have a native 16:9 mode, and this also performs as expected. Very strange so far how PlayStation 2 Classics on PlayStation 5 are showing big improvements over the PS1 attempts. When I used PCSX2 in hardware rendering mode using Vulkan, I was not as enthusiastic. It works as you can see, but the performance is compromised. There was a fair amount of slowdown during gameplay, which then messed up the sound output. Special effects such as the blur or depth of field were blocky and looked odd. I'm not sure what settings I need to use to fix them, but I did play around with everything and it didn't help much. Thankfully, the game worked very well in software rendering mode. The PlayStation 5 version is the way to go if you want to upscale the title. If you folks have any tips on how to get this looking and working better, please tell me in the comments. Let's try Blood Omen 2. Part of the Legacy of Kain series, this action game looks pretty good on PlayStation 5, if a bit darker than I'd like. Sadly, this title has an unexpected flaw. The screen keeps stuttering. You can see as I move, there's a screen jump every time. It never goes away. While the game works, controls and sounds good, this flaw is far too distracting for me. I cannot believe this actually got past QA testing. You cannot release a PlayStation 5 native app in this state, yet here it is. This is especially damning when using PCSX2, and that's because the game runs perfectly. Look at the two side by side. It's no contest which one I suggest you use. Sony or whoever ported this to PlayStation 5 needs to hang their heads in shame. Considering that I paid for the service, this is disappointing. Alright, here's Primal, a PlayStation 4 app. The game actually warned you that it may not play as desired on the PlayStation 5. At first, everything seemed to work well and I was happy enough, until I got to this scene. Notice the sky is white or grey in colour? It's actually meant to be red. Here's how it looks on PCSX2, and other than the sky being rendered wrong on PlayStation 5, PCSX2 also looks sharper and better rendered across the board and slightly brighter than the PlayStation 5 version. While the PlayStation 5 version works, it is disappointing to see these flaws and for textures to be rendering incorrectly. It might be best to stick with emulation or real PlayStation 2 hardware. I love the original Ape Escape, and we did cover the first game, so why not the second? Wow, this is bad. First, this is the European version with no way to select the NTSC version. Look at the screen for the second problem. It's so glitchy, it's quite sad. I cannot believe this PlayStation 4 app runs so poorly on the PlayStation 5. Yes, it works technically and you can play it, but it being the PAL version coupled with the glitchy graphics on display makes the experience undesirable. Running this game on PCSX2 is so much better. This is the NTSC version, but more importantly, the lack of glitches makes the experience pleasant to play. Even the colours are muted on PlayStation 5. What gives? To say the service is a mixed bag so far is quite the understatement. How on earth did this game pass QA, and if it ran so poorly on PlayStation 5, why did Sony allow it to continue to be sold in this way? Unbelievable. Let's try Hot Shots Tennis. I love the golf titles and the tennis attempt is pretty good. Thankfully, it works well on PlayStation 5 and is fun to play. After trying some of the other games thus far, it was nice to play a game that actually worked. The same cannot be said for PCSX2. In hardware rendering mode, no matter what I tried, it didn't work. The gameplay was too slow and unplayable. It did work perfectly using software rendering mode thankfully, so not a lost cause but disappointing all the same. If you folks can let me know what I can do to get this game to work in hardware rendering mode, that would be appreciated. Here's a strange game for you. It's Mr. Mosquito. This game makes you suck the blood from unsuspecting victims while trying to avoid getting detected. If you fill all the blood you acquire, you move on to the next stage. To say this game is bizarre is an understatement. I do miss strange titles like this and I want to find more of them. On PlayStation 5, the game works well and I couldn't find any strange flaws or glitches to speak of. Using PCSX2, it looks and runs in a similar fashion, although it's slightly sharper and brighter as you'd expect by now. Software rendering mode also works well too. In other words, this is the trifecta as all three ways to play the game work perfectly. I tested many more games, so I'll show them to you via a montage and you can see and hear how they perform on PlayStation 5 versus PCSX2. I'll see you at the end.
Wait here. Come over when I call you. I'm concentrating on our surroundings. so I can't watch over you the whole time. Eventually, you'll be able to feel me calling you. Wait here. Come over when I call you. I'm concentrating on our surroundings, so I can't watch over you the whole time. Eventually, you'll be able to feel me calling you. Come over when I call you. I'm concentrating on our surroundings, so I can't watch over you the whole time. Eventually, you'll be able to feel me calling you.
Now this is very interesting. The message you just found appears to be some sort of clue. I'll decipher it here in the van. In the meantime, see if you can find any more clues. The more I have... Hold on, Sly. See those searchlights? One careless step and you'll be subjected to acute combustion.
You done whining? Let's go.
I'm just trying to keep you alive, partner. Fortunately for you, I launched these signal repeaters throughout Raleigh's fortress. Get close to one, and I can checkpoint your progress.
Nice.
According to my amphibio positioning system, that big blimp is where Raleigh... Take up position for a Jak 86. Over.
I've got a visual.
The ball has stopped rolling. We've got an obstruction.
I'm on it. First is away. Second guy is pulled. Third skyward. Roll off, Al. Over.
Agent Old Rock, prep for timber.
Hiya, welcome.
Let her rip, Old Rock. Prep for timber.
Hiya, welcome.
Let her rip, Old Rock. Ball's in position.
Okay, Papa.
Nice work. The ball's got a track. Over.
Time to get romantic, yes indeed, that's for sure. The kick punch style remains very secure. Never bending, always the fast to make a move. This time we get down nice and smooth. Ha 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 ha. Love kick. Love kick. Love punch. Punch. Love duck. Love duck. Love turn. Love turn. Love chop. Love chop. Love twist. Love twist. Love pose. Love pose. Love hug. Love hug. Smooth kick. Smooth kick. Nice punch. Nice punch. Sweet chop. Sweet chop. Love bite. Love bite. Because I'm smooth with a groove so new. I wish everybody had the same point of view. Meet me at the corner, pick you up a 7. Wear your best dress and I'll take you to heaven. Yes, yes, yes. Hi, hi. Hold hands. Oops, hold. Getting worse.
Good. 2 days. 9 change. 6 change. Star. 6 change. 3 change.
Will give you a power cell in exchange. This is a power cell, the most important precursor artifact you can find. You need to collect 20 of these so I can power the heat shield for your A-Grav Zoomer. Hey, you found one of my scout flies. I sent 7 of them to each area to look for power cells, but the lurkers must have captured them all.
How to roll?
Alert. Prison escape in progress.
Ooh, that's a high ledge. Try jumping once, then jump again while in the air to reach that one. There are lots of Crimson Guard crates lying around for the taking. Break that crate. Crimson Guard crates lying around for the taking. Break that crate.
You are in a restricted sector. This sector is on high alert.
If you duck before you jump, you'll go higher. You'll need a high jump to reach the top of this ledge, Jak. Dodge, Jak! Do your, stuff.
We're beginning our sweep.
Good job! The crate had a health pack inside. Pick it up. You'll want to keep healthy, Jak, or who'll do the fighting?
We're moving in.
Surrender yourself. You are under arrest.
Flank 'em. We're taking heavy. We're taking heavy.
Out there. We've got a green light. My blade. Ah! Here's a present. Oh! One lap finished.
We made it, and this was the most mixed bag I've ever seen. PS2 Classics on PlayStation 5 are an improvement over the PS1 Classics in that most of them work and the input lag has been tightened up and fixed, making the experience much nicer to play. It's a shame then that many of the games have flaws or silly choices made when porting them to PlayStation 5. Some games are PAL only, some games have flaws or glitches that are unacceptable given the price I paid for the service, and some games could upscale better if given a bit more work. I'm not sure what to say other than the attempt to bring PS2 Classics needs more work, and as for the PlayStation 4 apps, perhaps a PlayStation 5 native app is needed for these titles going forward. What do you folks think of PS2 Classics on PlayStation 5? Would you be satisfied with the results I showed today? Should I check out the PSP Classics next? Tell me in the comments, and I will see you soon.